All right, Guido, today we're going to make focaccia. You were here a couple weeks ago, we made it, you loved it. Now I'm going to show you how to make it yourself, okay? So, simple ingredients. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of 00 flour, Italian fine grind flour, a 1/4 teaspoon, that's right, only a 1/4 teaspoon of active instant yeast, okay? Make sure it's active instant, because if it's regular yeast, you'll have to bloom it first in the water. This one you can just put it in, mix it in, it'll work fine, it'll dissolve. The other stuff doesn't dissolve, you have to dissolve it first. So, instant active yeast. 2.5 teaspoons of sea salt and 2 cups of water. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna put everything in the bowl together. When you're putting the ingredients in, put the yeast on one side and the salt on the other. Don't let them touch, just in case, okay? Because sometimes the salt can damage the yeast, so we want to put them at opposite ends, okay? See that? Opposite ends. Now we're going to use a whisk and whisk in either side, and then whisk it all together. That's it. Now we add the water. 2 cups. Precise measurements. Now the ratios that I'm giving you, this will create a high hydrated dough, 70% moisture content. And what is that going to do? That's going to give you nice lift when you cook it in a hot oven, and you're going to get a nice airy focaccia, and that's what we want, okay? So we'll just get our spoon. And bring it all together. Pretty straightforward. You can't really go wrong here, okay? So, we've got it together. We haven't done anything yet, right? Just stirred it together. That's it. Now we're gonna just let it sit for 15 minutes. And essentially what we're gonna get is we're gonna get the water hydrating the dough. And if we let it sit for 15 minutes, it'll just be easier when we knead it a little bit, okay? Set your timer 15 minutes and I'll be back. All right, Guido, so nothing much has changed, right? Just 15 minutes, just to sort of allow the flour to absorb the water. Just makes it a little easier. So we're gonna dump it. We've got a little bit of flour here, just a light dusting. And now we knead it just a little bit, okay? Just be careful, it could be a little sticky, but you know, no big deal. Okay, that's it. Turn it on itself. We're gonna cover it for another 15 minutes, okay? See you in 15. Okay, so I cleaned out the bowl so we can put the dough in there when we're ready. Una spolverata di farina, a little bit of flour. And again, we're just turn it on itself. That's it. I didn't even knead it again, okay? Just pull it towards you. That's it. So we're gonna put a little bit of olive oil in here, spread it around, put the dough in there, cover it up. The reason I'm doing this is so that the dough doesn't stick to the bowl. I put the top in first, turn it over. And this as well will stop it from crusting over or doing anything, drying out. Piece of plastic wrap. So I covered the dough with plastic wrap, put a little bit of oil in it, olive oil in it. Now I'm going to explain what we're doing here. So the idea of this is we only put a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. So that's going to take a long time to give this dough the lift that we want. So we're going to leave it at room temperature for about 4 hours, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator for another 12 hours. Okay, so 16 hours total fermentation. And that's what we need when we use such little yeast. Okay, we want it to go nice and slow. It's going to develop flavor, and you're going to get a nice, airy, delicious focaccia. If you do it same day, you need a lot more yeast, and it's a whole different thing. So just trust me on it. You saw the process was very easy, right? We just did a couple of little kneads, 15 minute, 15 minute. Now, 4 hours, room temperature, in the refrigerator 12 hours, and I'll see you in 16 hours. All right, here we are. So the dough's been sitting for 16 hours, and look at that. It's the magic of time. Awesome. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. It may sound like a lot, but what we want to have happen is have the dough cook from the bottom up. So it's almost like it's frying and you get a nice crispy base. Okay, so just use your hands, best tool in the kitchen. And here it comes. Don't have to work it too hard. Okay, we just leave it in here. Push it gently to the edges as best you can. Then we're gonna leave it for about 30 minutes, covered with plastic. We're gonna stretch it that last little bit, and we're gonna cover it with some rosemary and garlic and salt, and we're gonna cook it. Okay, so we're gonna make a bit of a paste, oily paste for the top of the focaccia. Got some rosemary that I had in the freezer. It freezes well. It goes a little dark, but the flavor is still nice and strong, so don't worry about that. So I'll just put a good bunch of rosemary. I've got 2 large cloves of garlic, just cut into smaller pieces. Now, if you don't have a pestle and mortar, you can just do this on a cutting board, obviously. It's but I've got it, so I'm gonna use it. Okay, now we're gonna add half a teaspoon of salt. A good glug of extra virgin olive oil. And then we pound it. Again, if you don't have this, just a cutting board with a knife is good too, okay? Could be rustic, right? We don't need it to be fine. Just you want to macerate it together and get all the flavor out. So when we put it on the focaccia, you get a nice hint of garlic and rosemary on top. And that's it. Okay, so we've let it rest for about half an hour, and you can see how it's starting to lift a little more, which is good. So now we should be able to just stretch it to the ends, add our mixture of oil and garlic and rosemary. And in the meantime, I've preheated the oven to 475. It might sound hot, but that's what we want. We want it super hot at the beginning, And then for about the first 5 minutes, you got to keep an eye on it. After 5 minutes, we'll turn it, we'll check it, and we could lower the heat if necessary. But we want it to give it a burst of very hot heat right off the bat. So it looks good. Don't fuss about too much with it, but you know, you can put little dimples in it. So then when we put the oil and garlic mixture, it falls into these little crevices that we made with our fingers. Okay? Don't be afraid to use your hands. Spread it out evenly as best you can. Don't stress about it. It's not a big deal if it's not perfectly even. You just want to spread it out so you get some of that rosemary and garlic in most of the bites you take. That looks good. Finally, I'm just going to go around and a little more oil. Just be careful not to overdo it, because it will overflow in your oven and make a big mess, which you don't want. And a final sprinkle of salt. So the oven is preheated 475 convection. If you don't have a convection oven, just put it to the max, 500, 550, whatever it is, for the first 5 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Everyone's oven's a little different, okay? And we'll be back to check it in 5 minutes. Okay, that's 5 minutes. Nice and puffy. See, it's starting to get brown on the edges. So now we're going to turn it, and we're going to put it higher up in the oven. This was on the very bottom. Now we're going to put it near the top for another 5 minutes. Okay, same temperature, max. There it is. That looks good enough to eat. So it's 10 minutes at 475 convection. Let's check underneath. Amazing. Look at that. So we're going to let it cool for 5 minutes, and then we're going to taste it. So we have lots of oil under it, right? So it should come out pretty easily. There you go. Any of that extra oil? That's all good stuff. Just let it on top. Mmm.